From the News Channel 5 Network, this is OpenLine.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to OpenLine. Glad you're with us tonight. We have a very special guest. We have with us our chief investigative reporter, Phil Williams. He's done a lot of great stories, but we're talking about this recent story that you have been doing. Recent in that you've done a lot of stories recently, but you've been working on this for 20 years.
More than 20 years.
More than 20 years. Yeah. Remnant Fellowship, right?
That's right.
And so we're going to play this first story that aired after the Super Bowl, maybe more accurately, really late at night.
Exactly.
On a Sunday night. Yeah. But set it up for us. Talk about how long you've been doing this, how this particular piece came together, kind of what happened.
Yeah, a lot of our viewers actually may know this more from an HBO Max docuseries that was that aired a couple of years ago. Gwen Shamblin, it was called The Way Down: God, Greed, and the Cult of Gwen Shamblin. Gwen Shamblin was this religious figure who started out as a Christian diet guru, very, very popular. From Brentwood, who had this Christian diet plan that, you know, she started her own church that people have said is a cult. My first story about Gwen Shamblin was 2001. 2004, I had an extended series about the death of a remnant child. And it's just been a story that's been there in the background for me for the last 20 years.
And what happened is her son, she died 3 years ago in a plane crash. That was obviously well covered. But now her son contacted you, right?
He and I had been in contact for the last 9 months or so. And so the Monday before the Super Bowl, he had said something to me on social media. I said, "Hey, is it time for you to tell your story?" And he was like, "Let's do it." And so that's pretty big. What happened here.
All right, so let's run this first story. This is the story, the very first of the stories. Then we'll come back and just talk about it. And this is a chance for viewers to call in, whatever. But let's take a look at that first story.
What is truth and who has it?
For more than 20 years, it's a story that has fascinated me.
The Way Down. Here we go. It's the story of Gwen Shamblin.
Yes.
And the Remnant Fellowship, and they're in Brentwood, Tennessee.
And a lot of America.
Describe that as I describe kind of the belief system, and he goes, "Oh, that sounds like a cult." Mm-hmm.
The story of how Gwen Shamblin.
I got them on simple principles. Don't focus on it. Focus on God. Focus on His will.
Went from being a popular Christian diet guru, and that's her church, the Remnant Fellowship, to what some consider to be a cult leader.
How members of Remnant behave is a bit like Handmaid's Tale.
Yet throughout all the controversies,
and you had a chance to tell her that was not correct.
That was not on there.
Instead, you said, "Praise the Lord."
No, that was not on there.
There was always one person who I firmly believed would one day have a story to tell.
Where's Michael? Where's my son?
Now, nearly 3 years after his mother's death in a plane crash.
Hey, Michael. Good to see you.
He's finally ready to speak his truth. 20 years ago, would you ever have imagined that you and I would be sitting down talking like this?
Phil, 20 years ago, early on in Remnant, you were the devil.
The devil?
Oh, yes. You were Satan incarnate to the Remnant early on. Because, of course, Gwen was telling us all that.
Does Remnant advocate repeated spankings of children over and over and over?
No, sir.
Absolutely not.
No, sir.
Absolutely not.
The last time I had seen Michael, I was interviewing his mother and another church leader about the child abuse death of an 8-year-old remnant boy.
For wisdom is more precious.
Whose mom and dad were taking their cues on parenting from the church.
And where's Michael? Where's my son?
Michael was just 23.
You got to keep in mind, my son, this is, you know, I mean, to see someone attack his mom, it's hard. But anyway, I know that.
How's it going?
We were showing him that video from 20 years ago when he suddenly reacted.
It did bother me.
That I was asking those kind of questions of your mother?
It did. to be completely honest, I was bothered.
You were pissed.
I was. And that was hard on me. But that's what makes it even more incredible now that I'm sitting here, have come full circle 180. I look at you more as a hero of it all now.
Michael and I had connected on social media more than a year ago when he followed me from an account in the name of Michael S. Black, an identity he's now trying to establish professionally.
The Michael S. Black type thing is more of me. It's a person who's tired of being used and abused from Gwen Shamblin.
The Shamblin name to you is just too toxic at this point.
It has been.
She's just playing God. It's wrecking families. It's wrecking kids.
That's even more true in the wake of the HBO Max series released more than 2 years ago titled The Way Down, God, Greed, and the Cult of Gwen Shamblin.
I think they actually did a fantastic job. I've heard people say, of course, Remnant, they're not even allowed to watch that in Remnant. That's how close of an environment it is.
Michael's view of his mother now? Who was the real Gwen Shamblin?
Gwen Shamblin Laura was a narcissist. She always had the answer. She knew more than anybody in the room, wherever she went.
And I notice you don't call her mom, you don't call her mother, you call her Gwen.
That's from habit. I quit calling her mother probably around 2010.
Why?
Because we were so at odds.
And what about the Remnant Fellowship, where he was once one of the worship leaders?
People have been hurt, fallen by the wayside, have been victim to it. People have been financially hurt by it. It's hard to call it a church in my mind. It is a church, but it's a cult.
You think it is a cult?
I do believe it's a cult.
Why do you say that?
Because it's a group of people who are devoted to a person, Gwen Shamblin Laura.
Michael says when his mother's plane crashed into Nashville's Percy Priest Lake in 2021, killing her husband Joe Lara, and 5 Remnant leaders, he was already estranged from the group that he now considers a dangerous cult.
By that point, I had spent so many years getting with abuse from some of these people that I never shed one tear. Not one. And to this day, I have never cried about it.
Not for your mother?
The people dying. Nope. Never cried for her.
Leaving the church right after that, as his marriage to another Remnant member was falling apart, Michael says he found himself sinking into a major depression.
I got so depressed that I quit turning on the lights.
Sitting in the darkness, a shadow on the wall.
That's when he wrote a song he titled Down.
Thought I set it up to angels, but I was actually in decline, and I was down.
We were told we've got it. We've got the answer. Remnant knows they have the answer.
That's the one true church.
The one true church.
It's hard to keep believing when my only solid ground starts to fall down.
I look back on my life and go, what were we doing? What was I thinking? I wish I could go back and see my earlier self and go, no, this was not. There are people being hurt here. You're not 100% innocent and perfect going along with this. You thought we were headed up, but it was a decline.
Wow. Very powerful story.
He is a fascinating character.
You've done several stories since that.
Yes.
There's so many questions I have, but let's start with what was the reaction? What has been the reaction from Remnant, first of all?
We have not heard a word from Remnant. I have reached out several times to try to give them a chance to respond. And they have just ignored my request for comment. I am told by people who still have connections to the church that basically members are being told not to pay any attention to this, to focus on what they call the fruit, which is to look at the positive signs, you know, the weight that people have lost, the positive improvements in their lives, and to focus on that and ignore the rest.
What about any pushback that Michael Shamblin has received?
You know, Michael, I've stayed in touch with him. Michael says that he has, you know, received some pushback on social media from anonymous accounts, maybe a few emails. He's heard from at least one person I know of who's still involved with the church, and basically telling him that, you know, he's doing the wrong thing. But he's also hearing from a lot of former members who are cheering him on, applauding his courage. You know, because what he is doing here requires such personal courage, because he's going against the life he once knew. And that's not easy for any of us when we have to, you know, take an honest look at the path that we've traveled, and to, you know, sometimes say, you know, that wasn't what I thought it was.
Especially when it's your family.
Your family. I mean, the next piece begins with this sense of betrayal. It's bad enough when you have this sense of betrayal from a religious leader, but when that religious leader is your own mother, I mean, that is just so hard to comprehend.
How surprised were you that he said cult? You know, that's obviously what people have said, critics have said, but here you have somebody who was part of it for a long time. His mom was the leader. How big a deal is it that he's saying it's a cult, and what does that say?
You know, and I think as we talked, I discovered that he had made this, or come to this awareness several years back. And he had actually started collecting evidence, because one of the pieces we did focus on what he called the guidance system, where members are tracked, their weights are recorded, for example. People are given instructions on how to treat their husband or their wives, and there's a measurement system, and so he had started developing this awareness of, this isn't right, this isn't good, this isn't, in his words, you know, godly, this isn't Christian, and so he had started collecting evidence. He broke away from the church at one point, then came back, and at the time his mother died, he was in the process of the final breakup. I mean, he had a spouse with children who are still in the church.
Oh, wow.
And we didn't really go into details. He wanted to leave them out of that. But as he put it in one of the pieces, he went from getting 100 texts a day to 0 texts a day.
100, I saw that, 100 texts a day. Was that just part of the community?
The community, the sense of community. So he went from this intense sense of community to 0 community.
And all right, so now his sister has taken over. Again,
Right.
His mom died in the plane crash. Where does it stand now? How large was it at its peak? Is it still there? Talk about numbers. Kind of where are we?
And we hear anecdotally that membership has declined. We really don't know. The church has become intensely private, more so than ever before. You know, unlike most churches in this community, you cannot just go in and sign up, or you can't go and watch a webcast. It's for members only, and you have to have a login. And the church actually tracks who logs in and for how long, that type thing. So it's really hard to know where membership is right now.
Well, that's fascinating. Okay, you have done several stories, and we're going to go through them. So this kind of sets the table for the discussion, and it's always fascinating just to talk to you about, you know, what went into this part or that part. So we'll go through these stories, and if you want to call in, there's the number, 615-737-PLUS, 615-737-7587. We will take a break. Be back right after this.